my next guest has had a long-established career on stage and on screen, having starred in the likes of TV drama Mr. Selfridge and the movie Ella Enchanted, one of my faves. Now he is here taking on the new role in Martin McDonagh's play. Aidan McArdle, you're very welcome to the 6 o'clock show.
Hey.
How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Now, I apologise, but I have to get this out of the way, because Ella Enchanted was one of my favourite movies growing up, and the family group chat is going wild that I'm chatting to you this evening. So I got to ask, what was it like filming Ella Enchanted?
It was brilliant. The ears took a long time to go on. They were like 5 hours every morning to get on. But yeah, it was great fun. Very itchy tights.
Did you get to keep the ears?
I did. I got a set. I did get a set, but you know, you can only use them once.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Such a movie. Definitely a DVD favourite for everyone growing up in the 2000s. Now, moving on, you are currently starring in Martin McDonagh's play, The Pillowman. Tell us all about this play.
Well, it's a brilliantly written play by Martin McDonagh. Yeah. It's funny, very dark. Sort of on PC, but thrilling. Yeah. And I think it's the type of thing I'd like to go and see myself. Yeah. And I don't like boring plays. Yeah. And I don't think it's going to be boring in any way. So I think everybody should get to see it. And
I feel like there's not a lot of that, like, on-PC kind of stuff anymore. So it's kind of fun that you get to take part in a play that is all about that, embracing it.
Exactly. Yeah. And these sort of characters, they're pretty dark characters as well. So it's sort of an instructive way of how they are as characters as well. Yeah. And it's set in a sort of totalitarian dictatorship, and there's a writer and he's getting interrogated at the beginning of the play, and we don't know why.
OK. Now, you mentioned instructions on the stage. This play is directed by Olivier-winning director Lindsay Turner. What's it like working underneath her?
Well, when I was being asked to do it, I rang a friend of mine who'd worked with her, and you're sort of going, what's she like? Yeah. And he basically said, she's the best director I've ever worked with. Oh, wow. And like, I was waiting for the but. Yeah. There was no but. What
is that difference? Because obviously you've worked like on stage and on screen. What is that difference when you have a good director to a brilliant director?
She's forensic and collaborative, and she sees where your problem might be with the staging, and then she takes responsibility for fixing it so that we're telling the story in the most efficient and clear way possible. OK. Now,
makes sense with your role, because you are a detective interrogator in this play. Tell us a bit more about this role and your character.
Well, at the beginning, we don't understand what the setup is, and I'm not going to give it away.
OK, no spoilers.
Yes, but basically there's two cops interrogating this writer, and he has zero idea why he's in there, and he thinks it's maybe something he's written, or he thinks it's maybe a case of mistaken identity, or maybe it's something else. Okay, so a lot of audience frustration might be going on. Frustration or exciting. They'll be excited and thrilled.
Yeah. Well, speaking about the play, now, of course, it kicks off next month. I hear rehearsals have already begun. How are they going?
They're going grand. Yeah. We're in sort of week 3, which is like the Bambi stage, where you're starting to put the book down, and then you're not quite knowing the lines as well as you want to, but yeah, we're getting there. And I think it's so tight in terms of the construction. Martin's writing is so brilliant and taut that you were sort of going, we need to get here now, just how do we do that? But all the signposts are there, so it's pretty easy. Yeah. And I was maybe going to do another job before this offer came in, and the second I started reading the part, I just went, this is one of those parts why you become an actor to do it. And it's like, I was saying it to Lindsay, that it's like one of those, you've got a little sticks like a divining rod, like those water guys, and you go like, I gotta do this. So I'm really excited to be doing it, actually. I'm going to have we're all going to have great fun doing it.
I can imagine the fun. We just saw a clip on screen of, you guys on stage. What's it like working with your co-stars as well?
Well, they're brilliant, because you always say that they're brilliant anyway, don't you? But they genuinely are, and there's a lot of sort of humility, and we're all just trying to work through and serve the play as well as we can together. Yeah. And the play is very, it has to be met technically, because the rhythm is so important in it. And so we've all got to sort of play our part in the music of the show, if you know what I mean, which means coming in quick with the cues or when to pause. And basically it's like an aria, you're sort of telling
Yeah.
that story,
Yeah.
and everybody's sort of participating in that. And yeah, it's been brilliant actually.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying it.
we obviously had Jason Donovan on, and he was talking about his role in the Rocky Horror Show, how it's quite physical, and how he's watching what he's drinking and eating before he goes on stage. When it comes to a role like yours, how do you prep for that? I know we were talking off air about how you remember lines so well. Like, what kind of prep goes into preparing for stage?
What I tend to do is I tend to go through all my lines every day before I would do a show. But it's turned into now almost a sort of a superstition thing. I probably don't even need to do it, but I do it in order just to be able to sort of, it's almost like a visualization thing to sort of get your head in the game so that you're ready to go. So it'd be mainly that. I get in early enough, don't eat too soon to kick off, and then just go for it.
Yeah, lines on repeat.
Yeah.
Now, I have to ask you about Mr. Selfridge. You starred as Lord Luxley. What was it like, playing a role like that?
It was great fun because he was such a douchebag.
You get to be pretentious and posh. And
yes,
fancy.
exactly. Also, but yeah, they had these collars, and they were like extra big collars.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was the most challenging bit about it. Is that you're going around as if
I know, how do I manoeuvre in this massive collar? You've also been cast as Albert Einstein quite a few times in different stages of his life as well, young and old Einstein. Have you embraced this now? People say the resemblance is uncanny. How do you feel about that?
Well, if I could only just understand, any of the theories, I'd be sort of all the way there. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun doing that. I think he was a very interesting character, and it's just happenstance that it happened twice. You know, and when you see the pictures of me in the makeup and then it melds into the actual pictures historically, it's sort of weirdly, strangely uncanny how much I do look like him.
It's like you need to go through the family lineage, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna be asking my mum some questions now. She's probably watching this now. Mum, what are you...
We got questions for you after the show.
Exactly.
Well, when we talk about, your acting career, it started way back when you were in school. You were in a school play in Turner College. Was this when the fire was just lit up in your belly?
It was, yes. I think I did King Lear when I was a kid. And I had to age up, and for the first show I made a massive mistake, and I used talcum powder. And so when I started, in front of the entire school, I started getting angry, and I started going, "No reason, not the need," and then just massive cloud of dust and the entire school was laughing. So I went, right, I have to change the makeup for tomorrow's performance. But
no talcum powder on the stage for the Pillowman.
Use a wax stick.
Noted. Now, you've acted on stage and on screen. As an actor, have you got a preference?
I think it depends on the project. You know what I mean? Because, if you have an amazing part in a screen thing, then that's the challenge. And if you're able to take a narrative all the way through to an arc or whatever. But sometimes I'm doing stuff in screen and they're lovely little parts, but they're not fundamental to the story. Whereas something like this is very exciting. And, you're telling a story from the beginning to the end in a specific, period of time. And so right now I'd have to say it's theatre.
Right now it's theatre. I love that. Huge thank you to Aidan for that chat. What a pleasure to have you on Six O'Clock Show.